Martin Van Buren was born on December 5, 1782, in the small village of Kinderhook, New York, just a few years after the United States had gained independence from Britain. He was the son of Abraham Van Buren, a farmer and innkeeper, and Maria Hose van Allen. Martin grew up in a simple Dutch-speaking household, and Dutch was the first language he learned. His early years were shaped by hard work, modest living, and a sense of responsibility instilled by his parents. Despite the family's limited means, Abraham and Maria emphasized education, honesty, and service to the community. As a child, Martin was known to be quiet, observant, and thoughtful, but also intelligent and ambitious. He attended local schools and, though he did not have access to the best education, he worked hard to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. Even at a young age, he showed a fascination with laws, government, and politics. His family noticed his talent for understanding people and situations, which would later become one of his greatest strengths in political life. After finishing basic schooling, Martin Van Buren began studying law through apprenticeship, a common practice at the time for those who could not attend a university. He studied under Peter Sylvester, a respected lawyer, and learned by observing court proceedings and reading legal texts. Martin's dedication paid off, and at the age of 21, he passed the bar exam and became a practicing lawyer. His legal career in Kinderhook gave him a strong connection to his community, and he quickly gained a reputation for fairness, intelligence, and persuasive argumentation. Martin's entrance into politics came naturally. He joined the New York State political scene as a member of the Democratic-Republican Party, a dominant party in the early 19th century. He was deeply interested in organization and strategy, realizing that a well-structured political party was essential to achieving goals in a democratic system. Martin helped form the Albany Regency, a powerful political organization in New York, and soon became known as a skilled political strategist. He understood people's motivations, negotiated effectively, and built alliances, making him a central figure in state politics. One of Martin Van Buren's most important political relationships was with Andrew Jackson, a military hero and future president. Van Buren supported Jackson's policies and helped him win the presidency in 1828. As a reward for his loyalty and organizational skill, Jackson appointed Van Buren as Secretary of State in 1829. Van Buren proved himself to be capable, diplomatic, and loyal, strengthening Jackson's administration. In 1833, Van Buren was elected vice president, further cementing his status as a leading figure in American politics. In 1837, Martin Van Buren became the 8th President of the United States, taking office at the age of 54. Unfortunately, his presidency began during a period of economic crisis. Just weeks after he assumed office, the United States plunged into the Panic of 1837, a severe financial depression caused by bank failures, falling cotton prices, and speculative lending practices. Thousands of people lost their savings, businesses went bankrupt, and unemployment soared. While the crisis had begun before Van Buren became president, the public largely blamed him for the economic hardship. Van Buren believed in limited government intervention in the economy, adhering to the principles of classical liberalism. Rather than using federal funds to bail out banks or stimulate the economy, he proposed the independent treasury system, which kept government funds separate from private banks. This approach was controversial at the time, but Van Buren argued that it would create a more stable financial system in the long term. Though criticized by many contemporaries, the independent treasury system later became a significant feature of American economic policy. Foreign policy during Van Buren's presidency was also challenging. He faced tensions with Great Britain over border disputes with Canada and issues related to trade. Van Buren worked carefully to avoid war, using diplomacy to maintain peace. He believed that military conflict could worsen domestic problems, especially during an economic depression, and prioritized negotiation over confrontation. Slavery and sectional tensions were another major challenge. Van Buren personally opposed the expansion of slavery into new territories but was cautious in addressing the issue publicly. He feared that aggressive action could deepen divisions between the North and South, potentially leading to conflict. His approach reflected his overall style, pragmatic, careful, and often cautious, focusing on stability and unity over immediate political gains. In the 1840 presidential election, Van Buren ran for re-election but faced strong opposition from the Whig Party, which nominated William Henry Harrison. The Whigs used innovative campaign strategies, including slogans, rallies, and songs, to appeal to voters. They portrayed Van Buren as an elite aristocrat who was out of touch with ordinary Americans, despite his modest upbringing. Ultimately, Van Buren lost the election, and Harrison became president. After leaving the presidency, Van Buren did not retreat entirely from public life. He remained politically active, especially on issues related to slavery. In the 1848 election, he ran as a candidate for the Free Soil Party, which opposed the expansion of slavery into newly acquired Western territories. Although he did not win, his participation highlighted his commitment to principles he believed were important for the nation's future. Martin Van Buren spent his later years in Kinderhook, New York, where he continued to write, follow politics, and advise younger leaders. He lived quietly, enjoying the company of family and reflecting on his long career in law and politics. He died on July 24, 1862, during the American Civil War, at the age of 79. He did not live to see the end of the conflict, but he had witnessed the growing divisions in the country that he had tried to manage during his presidency. Today, Martin Van Buren is remembered as an important architect of American political organization. He played a key role in building the Democratic Party, developing the system of party politics that shapes the United States to this day. Although his presidency faced severe economic challenges and criticism, his dedication to principle, organization, and diplomacy left a lasting mark on American history. His life demonstrates that a person from humble beginnings, with intelligence, perseverance, and skill, can rise to the highest office in the nation. Martin Van Buren's story is one of ambition, skill, challenge, and service. From a small Dutch-speaking village to the White House, he showed that dedication, strategic thinking, and loyalty to principles can create a life of meaning and impact. While history may judge his presidency harshly due to the economic crisis, his contributions to political organization, governance, and the preservation of peace remain significant. He stands as a testament to the possibilities in American democracy, proving that even someone born without wealth or privilege can influence the course of a nation.